takes strength to fight attitudes that are dictated by the mainstream dogma. The fact that you're even here shows you have an open mind. I only ask that you research yourself, determine for yourself the degree to which you can align with the ideas presented. I'd like to provide a bridge to another way to live, another way to think, another way to feel. I ask you to ride the rapids and open yourself to this exciting chance to live differently. For some, it is a leap of faith to grasp the expansive possibilities of your life and to live it. I just ask you to take one step in front of the other and get to the other side. We don't have to understand how it works. We just know that it does. I personally don't understand how putting gas in a car works, but I know I get places when I have gas, and I don't when I don't have gas. I believe in cars, but I don't know why they work. So, you can listen to this process, and you can have a treatment to see how it works. You can even then decide maybe you want to learn the process and then treat yourself, your family, and virtually any living thing on this planet. You might decide to move on to become certified and to create a business healing others. Just take that first step. There's an old saying, if you don't listen to God when He whispers, you're going to get hit upside the head with a brick. I was raised with that statement, and it made me incredibly sensitive to very small changes. I have prospective clients who approach me with two different kinds of issues. One is the person with a shopping list of ailments. The other is a person with a desire to live in a state better than they've experienced so far. Invariably, the message for both approaches is the same. You need to design a better state of living. We can, through different modalities, address each and every item on your shopping list. These are all good for symptoms from issues that you have stored in your body from the past. The treatment for this would be like walking through a maze and bending over and picking up every little piece of litter. No, not that kind of litter, though they are pretty cute. Let's get back to work. Okay, now the litter I was talking about is the litter that creates blocks to feeling joy, excitement about your life. It's often stored in the dark, painful corners of your body, frozen past emotions that need to be released. They need to be cleaned out as we go. This process of removing elements from the past is efficient, but it can be slow, and it's a detailed process. I want to introduce you to a concept that I've designed that is completely different. It's about setting your sights on the future. We've all heard the cliche that some see through a rose-colored lens. We mean by this that our outlook is based on a sense of naivete, as though seeing the good in life is not real. What if instead of toning that lens with one singular color, we were to grab that lens and change its power from micro to macro? What if there was like a joyous explosion of color coupled with changing focus, and it was all there for the taking? What if nothing about looking back at the scars or imbalances existed, but rather we could focus on designing a mental construct that opened the door to becoming engulfed in a higher ideal of who you're meant to be? What I'm about to explain is not only the origin of prayer, but also the origin of grace. This original prayer methodology was recently discovered in the Aramaic text, part of which had been left out of the translation process. That's a political intrigue story. in and of itself, and it will be covered in my book and in possibly later videos. But for now, just to say, it's a method of prayer preserved by Tibetan monks, Native Americans, and Peruvian shamans. This concept of prayer is not about ritual, word phrasing, or times of the day, like before eating, before bed, a Christmas Eve. These are dictated by many faiths. This method is based on the understanding that heaven is inside of you. Therefore, it's not about a ritual. It's not about a chant. It's not about words. It's totally about feeling the feeling. I originally heard about this prayer from Greg Braden when he told the story of once being asked by a Native American friend to share in a prayer to bring rain to a very dry desert in Arizona. He agreed and went with his friend to a location where his friend removed his shoes and gave honor to his ancestors. He then honored the 4 directions. We call them north, west, east, and south, but they have other names in other cultures, and they symbolize the guardians of the portals in and out of our reality. Eyes closed, he held his hands in prayer, and it was over in a few seconds. No words were spoken. Greg said he asked if he had prayed for rain, and the Native American said no. And I'll try to explain what Greg explained. We do not pray for what we want. In this case, you do not pray for rain. You see, if you pray for something, you're prolonging the state of want, that for something. It can then never happen. So as soon as you pray for something to occur, you're empowering an extension of the very condition you're living. That is, the state without. That is, the state of want. When the Native American closed his eyes in prayer, he focused on the feeling of what it's like to have rain. It feels like a shirt sticking to your back with each drop. It has a smell that's different than the dry air. You can feel the mud between your toes. These are sensuous feelings. In that way, the possibility of rain, out of all the possibilities in the universe, like a magnet, is brought towards you. So the key is feel the feeling of what you desire. Allow the world to respond to us as the creator. The quantum field will respond in like. What we are feeling in our hearts then connects to what is drawn towards us. We're empowering the feeling to bring what we want to us in a way that will bring those changes to our lives. Then just give thanks for the outcome you live in. So, if you can understand this process, it will be pivotal for understanding and creating the functioning of grace. So let me just review the 3 steps. Number 1, give honor and tell God what you're about to do. It's a prayer of healing. This is a prayer for financial wealth. This is a prayer for health. When you give thanks for what you perceive as the perfection of what you want, as in I have gratitude for a perfectly healthy body, and I have security and love and appreciation for financial wealth, appreciation for true love, etc. And 3, experience closure. Feel as if it is already done and you are living in the present tense. Feel with all the senses having what you pray for, if it's around you, to taste, to smell, to feel, to enjoy. It is the present tense existence of what you desire. I seal this prayer in trust and faith and truth. Because of generations of not praying this way, our DNA is distorted. our past lives are meshing into this life because we've not learned the lessons from our past lives. We will keep repeating those mistakes or be affected by those mistakes until we resolve them, but we're not trained to do that. We don't know how to learn from pain and to release the emotions that get trapped from that pain. Being from the West, and after generations of these crusted emotions, we have debilitating blocks that need to be dissolved before we can access the true beauty of this method of prayer. It will happen, but it needs to happen after we're cleared. Grace clears these blocks to allow for that change. Grace combines the elements of this ancient prayer method with the removal of blocks to get you to the state where you can draw powerful, positive, energetic fields in a sea of infinite possibilities. Through trust and faith that the higher self can understand, we can define what health and well-being looks like. We can access the state of perfection, magnetize the optimum conditions, and then draw that desired world towards us as our state of existence. So let's review. Grace is needed to clear the blocks that we have crystallized around us, keeping us from being who we want to be and how to draw towards us what we want. To get to the state our ancient cultures have retained, we in the West need to undo states of disharmony, blocking our communication with our higher selves. Then, once the blocks are cleared and the pathways of communication are open, we can get to the state where this ancient process of prayer can be used as a clear, strong, and functioning method of creating what you want in life. In the following episodes, we're going to go into how these blocks are created and how they get stored and affect your life. We're also going to draw parallels between this method of healing and its ancient roots in various cultures around the world. And then I'll do an episode on various people who've been treated and what they feel has been the change in their life. So you can see if that's something that you might be interested in. So you can, if you want, go to the website and book a session and find out more, or you can stay tuned and look for further episodes. Just hit the subscribe button and the bell to be alerted when those are uploaded. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.